How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's the morning of April 25th, and here's the deal. So last night, I recorded one of these videos, and it was super long. It was like half an hour. There was like 20 articles that I ran through, and I was super happy with it. But then I hit a roadblock. My computer couldn't export it. I had all kinds of issues with my storage on this, and I'm like, okay, I need to start changing things up. So what I'm gonna do is make these videos shorter, but do more of them. Because I don't even like the way the videos end up being like 20, 30 minutes, and a lot of people tell me they like short and sweet. I do too. So I'm gonna start divvying up these videos. I'm gonna try to do one in the morning and one in the evening. So we'll see how that goes. And in this particular video, I'm gonna talk Q, just roll over the past couple days, post real quick, give you my 2 cents, and then I just have a handful of articles we'll go through, and then my goal is to do another one of these tonight. So, you know, you can see I'm still rolling with the green screen behind me. Let's go ahead and put something epic up there, and let's get started. All right, guys, so let's get into Q's posts here, and we're going to begin with the first one on April 23rd, and this one basically goes over information about the Iran deal. It's talking about installments, 2 installments of $250 billion a year that go to Iran. You can see this line right here. It says, no inspection at GZNR sites, and I'm assuming that means ground zero nuclear reactor sites. No missile tech prevention load carrying ICBM, think North Korea. So what this is telling us here is that Iran is used much like North Korea was to essentially blackmail the world with. They're a deep state controlled entity that gets black market stuff funneled to them for payments, pay to play, and as you can see here, no missile tech prevention, no inspection at their nuclear reactor sites. So they're allowed to get nuclear reactors, so the deep state can then blackmail the world with them. Then right here, it goes into asking who controls the money, who really controls it, who actually even audits it. None. Couple lines say, how does George Soros fund worldwide counter events, and who funds worldwide leftist events? Well, we do. The American taxpayer subsidizes it. Define nuclear standoff, who benefits, how do you squeeze funds out of the US? Threat to humanity, environmental push, think Paris Accords. So funds are squeezed out of the United States based upon, you know, the problem, reaction, solution agenda, whatever the elites bring onto us, whether it's terrorism, whether it's global warming, whether it's humanitarian aid. There's a lot of bullshit reasons they sell us with, but in the end, it's all bullshit. And we subsidize a lot of stuff around the world that's actually used against us, and little do people actually see that. How did the CIA fund non-sanctioned ops? Off money books, that's not audited. Right there it says. Next post here, do you believe the world is awakening? And Q's posting a link to the fact that the Armenian prime minister resigned. And this is now how many ministers, prime ministers, and ex-presidents and prime ministers have now quit or been arrested over the last few months. I mean, even people that don't know about Q and aren't even into conspiracies quite yet, they have to question. We've had Brazil's ex-prime minister, South Korea's ex-president, prime minister, whatever they call him. We have now Al Jazeera's prime minister stepping down. Just the other day, I saw an article about the Wales prime minister stepping down. So many. And those are only presidents, prime ministers, and, you know, ex-heads of state. How about the CEOs? Let's see right here. Why was Armenia mentioned recently? Clowns losing control. Looks like North Korea, strings were cut there. Iran's next. Armenia. Like North Korea, they have been freed, assets on the ground. Sheds a little bit more light on here. Think think Saudi Arabia, SA. Order is important. We go Saudi Arabia to North Korea to Armenia to Iran. Any other rogue nuclear states? I wonder if we could throw Israel in there. I wonder if there was a reason Israel wasn't mentioned. Are we saving that till last? Then some other notes down here. The world's connected, so that's why we have to go in a slow process. Why are border states like Arizona and California important? That's how they traffic basically everything in and out of the country. So whether it's drugs or guns going in or out of America, or humans as well, border states are very easy to get those people across, and also the mercenaries, the illegals, right? Those that actually do the bidding of the political elite on the black market or on the black ops level. Why is Mexico so vocal against the president? I'd imagine there's a lot of corrupt bad actors there that are getting a lot of black market money from this illegal trafficking, and those who are the loudest are the ones with the most skeletons in their closet. Where we go one, we go all. Great awakening. And Anon says, don't forget the Americans boss. Q says, happening now. And then Q posts a link to a UN.org link about auditors on the board there and says, happy hunting. So I haven't done the digging there yet, but I'd imagine there's some pieces there. And then also this NPR link, wake up, learn, question. Then Q gets into talking about the Red Cross. Like I mentioned earlier, humanitarian aid is one of those excuses that the elite use to traffic stuff. Red Cross, perfect opportunity for them to use that excuse with that organization to smuggle stuff, money, humans, organs. What does the Red Cross do? What are they involved with? And I think there's your answer as to what they smuggle. These people are sick for sure. And it's all relevant to events about to unfold. I would imagine Red Cross and those humanitarian organizations, such as those connected to the UN, are going to be exposed soon. Follow the EO's executive orders. Then Q goes into some dot connecting here based upon Osama bin Laden and Awan, asking what date was Osama bin Laden killed? Where was it located? Think logically. When did Awan's mission op go green? 2004. Huh. And again, I haven't been able to do much digging into all this or follow the Chans and research who does or look at the data they provide on 8chan, but I'm sure there's a lot of good dots to connect here between Osama bin Laden, who is said to be a CIA-connected, controlled opposition, and then, of course, Awan. Then Q posts, listen carefully, trust the plan. This link goes to a speech from the president, a good reminder that there's connections there between the Q group and the administration. It's just a reminder that the alliance is working for all of us behind the scenes. Now getting into this post, a long one, discussing how Clinton, right here, you can see she's basically making out with a racist, Robert Byrd, KKK member. And then it goes into talking about history, how all of our history has been completely twisted. Learn the term projection, Q says here. One big way they psychologically mind control us. They want you enslaved. What has the D or R party, Democrat or Republican Party, done for the black population? Basically nothing. What has the president done in a year? Well, for all the population, I think, much more than any president in the past. And then a lot of good connections right there in that post. Let's see. Q then says, the end of April 23rd, Planned Parenthood coming soon. I'd imagine some drops regarding that coming shortly. Another mention of Iran. Bigger problems than ever before. Signal to Iran refers to more than continued payments of $250 billion, like we were mentioning earlier, missile payments. And Anon asks Q, is Macron a true ally to the president? His sole purpose was to convince the president on behalf of the European Union to remain in the Iran deal. You decide. Imagine he's not a true ally. Still talking Iran deal, hostage no more. And Anon asks, when will we have the MOAB? Q says, should we tell all the good people watching? Red carpet rollout, think logically. They can't tell us. But we get a nice little hint as to what the MOAB might be right here. And this is in reference to a Sarah Carter tweet. Sarah Carter, the awesome journalist, says, breaking, the DOJ will make the 6 months of missing text that were eventually located by the IG between Sturzak and Page available to Congress today or tomorrow. Incoming MOAB, the Anon says, duck and cover. Q says, red carpet event, state dinner. What will the text reveal? MOAB or precursor? This might not even be the MOAB. It might be the precursor to it. And in previous Q posts from months past, it suggested that there was even talk of assassinating the president, possibly. Some other big things in there. So if this isn't even the MOAB itself, which it could be, if it's the precursor, man, I'm excited. But anyway, that's basically it in regards to Q. Let's go through a few other posts. Let's talk about Allison Mack here, the Smallville actress. So, of course, a lot of mainstream media was very slow to report upon this issue, of course, because Allison Mack's case and the whole NXIVM what nonprofit self-help organization sex cult, as it's being termed now. This has connections to so many big players, and this is why all these mainstream outlets were so slow to report on it, and they're not even reporting the full breadth of the issues. So what I've been noticing, and some other people as well, is that in the actual indictments, and mind you, this is an unsealed indictment, so we actually had one of those 25,000 sealed indictments. One of them was unsealed. It was Allison Mack. So if he had one unsealed indictment that was this big of a player, I can only imagine what the other 25,000 are going to bring. But anyway, in actual Allison Mack's unsealed indictment, it says not just human trafficking, not just solicitation or prostitution or whatnot. It actually says trafficking of children. So I think this story is a lot bigger than many people believe, and that's why we're seeing the mainstream so slow to catch up to it. Now they're reporting on it basically just because they have to, because of public pressure. And another instance of this slop just getting swept off of our planet. Founder of one of the largest children's charities in the world arrested for pedophilia. Check it out. Last week, Peter John Dalglish, United Nations advisor and founder of this is just disgusting, Street Kids International Charity, was arrested on suspicion of pedophilia at the home he was staying in Nepal. During the arrest, 2 young children were rescued. They were 12 and 14 from the home. And isn't this just nasty? I mean, it's like the fox always guards the hen house or chicken coop, whatever you want to call it. This guy was a founder of a Street Kids International Charity. That's just gross. I'm glad this storm is picking up speed. Next piece of news, let's talk about George H.W. Bush. Of course, Barbara Bush, his wife, passed away a few days ago. Now, H.W. Bush is in intensive care in the hospital. You probably already know about this, but I just want to let you know it's okay not to feel bad. A lot of people think because these Bushes are in the hospital that we have to feel sorry and bad for them, but no. I mean, this family was a scourge upon society. They've been absolutely terrible, terrible people. So what a better time to expose all their nefarious acts and their crimes against humanity than now. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty. Okay? And speaking of this, I found this article, this piece of information that people have been pointing out over the past couple of days, very interesting. And I'm going to begin right here with an article from October 27th, 2017. And it says, JFK, Donald Trump holds back hundreds of secret assassination files for review. So this was just under 6 months ago. And what actually happened is the National Archives published about 3,000 secret documents way back then. And I didn't even know this until just recently, but they actually held about 300 files under a 180-day review, under a 6-month review. So government agencies can, again, they gave an excuse there. But so check it out. We actually have some JFK files that haven't been released yet. And that 6-month review from just under 6 months ago is actually up tomorrow. And I found this really peculiar in regards to, of course, George H.W. Bush now being basically on his deathbed. A lot of people connect the dots here and believe that George H.W. Bush had a direct hand in the assassination of JFK. We know the deep state had a hand in it, but George H.W. Bush, with his tentacles getting into the CIA and those black programs, he was maybe one of the main ones that pulled it. So now for him to be in the hospital just before these JFK documents come out, I mean, it just seems there has to be some kind of schedule to this. And even if it's not like specifically scheduled or planned, some kind of divine timing, like who knows? I know a lot of folks pass away very soon after their wives or spouses do. I know that's common. But in this particular case, I mean, I'm not even sure that the Bushes are still alive. Maybe they died a while ago, and this is just a particular plan to have their deaths released now to get the changeover going. Keep the peace as the system shifts, per se. See what I'm saying? As the dynasty falls. I've seen that term matriarch thrown around as well, especially in regards to Barbara Bush's death. So it's crazy that it's as if they're imprinting into the collective consciousness that this was like an elite bloodline. So it's, I'm not even sure that Bushes were alive. Maybe these deaths are just planned and now released to the public. I guess we did see Bush in that picture, but I don't know. Could have cloned him. But anyway, just want to make a note right here to a sponsor of this channel in Virtual Shield. If you need a VPN to protect your digital stuff, your phone, your computer, and whatnot, set yourself up with a virtual seal VPN. It's real cheap. It's like $10 a month, if that, and you can protect and encrypt basically all of the data that you send on the internet. Really good for you and your family if you're perusing the same websites that I'm perusing. So go check Virtual Shield out. And now, last few articles that I want to roll with you through. This one I found. This is like a meme going through the mainstream media about the Toronto attack, which I do believe was a false flag. Way too many mysterious circumstances around it. And how many vans have we just seen crash into pedestrians lately? But anyway, look at this. So it says, posts indicate suspect in Toronto attack was radicalized on 4chan. So this is the very convenient brainwashing, mind control, psychological operation that they're trying to push with this particular attack in trying to ridicule, discredit, and frame all the truth seekers like you and I as crazy, and to get the public out there to believe that anybody like us who is radicalized on 4chan, quotes, 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 is dangerous and deranged, and we're just going to go shoot up crowds and whatnot. And I've seen this on all kinds of different mainstream media outlets, just worded differently, whether it's saying, alt-right people radicalized by 4chan, or 4chan's making people crazy. But of course, they're trying to paint the whole movement, throw out all the babies with the bathwater. If there even is any bathwater, they're just completely trying to cover ass, of course, with these kinds of articles. And speaking of that, we had the Toronto attack, we had the shooting at that Waffle House in Tennessee, we've had other shootings, and of course Avicii died. Just want to make a note right here. We are in the yearly dark occult ritual of the season of sacrifice. So that is a particular few weeks between the beginning of April and the mid to end of May. I think it's about a 40-day span that is used in dark occult practices for their black magic rituals, and they try to create as much death and fear and trauma within the collective consciousness as possible. And this, of course, helps them bring their agendas forth and do all that they want to do. So, we had Avicii die. Dude was like 28. And how many musicians do we have mysteriously die at 27 or 28? And there's so many weird things, don't get me started on Avicii's death, but was he even an alcoholic? I read somewhere that he wasn't even a drinker, and he was trying to take care of himself for his health, but here, he just died from alcohol poisoning. And really weird. It was really weird how authorities were so quick to say that. But anyway, a lot of weird potential false flag sacrifices going on, so we really need to clean up this evil. Much worse than a lot of people believe. Last couple things here. Check this article out. Headline saying, conspiracy theorists believe wild ideas because they want to feel special. And this was put out by a news organization. Never heard of them before. I don't know if they claim to be an independent media organization, but it's called Quartz. I don't believe them. They're just trying to make up a bunch of bullshit. And then very last thing, and I need to jet. Can we talk about Kanye? For real, check this out. Zero Hedge, Kanye West on Red Pill Rampage. If you just go to his Twitter, it's been nuts over the past few days. It's like he's been broken free from his MK Ultra programming and let loose or something, but he is just going to town on Twitter. Only free thinkers talking about an awakening. It's great. But of course, the Washington Post, Kanye West, alt-right darling, trying to sway the public perception about that. I just hate the Washington Post. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. I'm out. I'll be checking in soon. Peace.